Hello, 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 and welcome to the Joy of Connection. And it is September, autumn, things are changing. The air around us is changing. Our skin is changing. Our hair is changing. And tonight, I wanted to talk a bit more about hair because if you watched last week, and those of you that missed it, you can do the replay. So don't forget, you can do the replay. But last week, we had a really hot, interesting, exciting conversation about black hair. And it was primarily about black hair and feeling comfortable with wearing it natural and what that meant and what that looked like and what that felt like for many of our women. And so I had so much interest in it. And I had even one of our guests was actually writing notes, taking notes about some of the things that they could use in their hair. And I thought, gosh, this would be really interesting to perhaps have a conversation this week, a continuation, a part two about how we treat our hair, how we love our hair, how do we take care of our hair. And that really has nothing to do with whether you're black, Asian, white. It's just about women in general, how we take care of our hair. And so, at the end of the show, the guests and I, we were just chatting about it. And then the producer and I were chatting. And so I sat down and I started to think, well, who do I know that has beautiful hair, has great products, and might be a great example to those of us who are thinking about taking care of our hair? Because, many of us are going through different things. Maybe if you're graying, you're struggling with your hair. Maybe if you're trying to go from a relaxed look or something else to a natural look, we're struggling. Maybe we're just having general things. We've been stuck in COVID, we've been stressed out, your hair is breaking, your hair is thinner. Or maybe you have alopecia from something natural or from using weaves over the years. Whatever your hair concerns may be, whether you're a black woman or just a woman in general, it's a beautiful thing to take care of it. So I say with great excitement and happiness, actually, tonight my guest is Althea from Big Nanny's Hair Products. So let's bring Althea on so we can talk a bit more about.
Hi.
Hi, my love. How are you?
I'm absolutely fine. How are you, Michelle? How are you?
Great. I'm great. And I'm so happy to have you on tonight because, as I said just before, we had such a great conversation last week and it just felt a little remiss to just leave it there sort of hanging when we're going to talk about the beauty of hair and how it's important and all of these other great things. And people kept talking about the products they're using or not using or didn't really know what to use. So I thought it'd be really great to have you on tonight. So welcome,
Thank
welcome,
you.
welcome.
Thank you.
I'm going to start with my first favorite question, which is, where are you from and where do you live?
Right. Well, I live in Birmingham,
Okay.
in the UK, and so this is where I'm from. But my parents were actually born in the West Indies, in Jamaica particularly, and that's where they're from. And they came over in the 60s, early 60s. So
Okay.
yeah,
My parents as well.
yeah.
For those of you that are listening from the States or Europe, because I have quite a few people, I have some guests in Denmark as well. Birmingham is in the middle of England, but more west.
Yeah.
We call it the West Midlands. So yeah.
Mm.
And we have somebody saying hello to you, Jenny Barrett.
Hi,
Hi,
Jenny.
Jenny Barnett. I apologize, Jenny. Thank you for showing up. Hi, Eva. Welcome. So
Hi.
one of the things I wanted to ask you is tell me if you remember, how did we connect? Do you remember? Because this show's about the joy of connection. So I want to know if you
I
remember.
think it was it not through a group that we're both in, called Teams Global that we're currently in now. Fantastic business group. Plug it all the way. Yeah, I think that's how. Probably at one of Angela Clark's events, and she's like the director of Teams Global. I think it was, and the founder. I think it was at that event actually. Was it not?
That is it. That's absolutely
Yeah.
correct. And the reason that was important for me was I just remembered, I think it was one of the conferences, and I remembered we had a break, or it was in, I'm not sure what time of the day it was. I think it was a break before lunch. And then you came out with some bags of products, and I just saw women running And I'm not exaggerating. I saw women running to get it. And I was like, okay, what's going on over here? And I was really, really impressed because people were walking away all happy with their little bags. I thought, oh, maybe she's giving away freebies or something. You weren't. You were selling your product.
No, yeah, I had a little.
Yeah, you just stand and all your products there. And at the very end, I finally got to you and sort of said, can you tell me a bit about it? And you told me. So I'm going to have you share that with these guys in a minute. But before we go on to talk about your fabulous products and, of course, your beautiful mane of hair, if I may call it that, because that's what it is, gorgeous. Can you tell me a little bit, because we talk about self-love and self-care, and you and I had a brief conversation about that before, but in terms of Althea, what do you do for her? Because I know that you have a family and you've got your mum and you've got a lot of responsibilities. You have your own business. So when you're not taking care of business and the family, what is Althea doing for Althea? What do you do for self-love?
Well, I'm looking after my health a lot more than I did. I mean, during lockdown, it occurred to me that I had on a bit more weight than I really wanted to have on. So I started to pay more attention to me and myself, and managed to drop a few stone that I didn't need to have in the first place. So I was really pleased about that. The other thing that I did though for Althea was I paid extra attention to my hair, because during the run up to when we locked down for COVID, I was so busy doing events and lots of different events, and so I wasn't taking time for my hair, never mind anything else. And so when you don't take time for your hair will tell you about it. And it did, and I started to get some breakage at the back of my head, and I was thinking that I was going to have to chop the whole lot to match it. But my mom said something to me that was really poignant. She said to me, and I suppose it covers in some ways life, but she says to me, use the longer hair, use it to show the shorter hair where to go. So don't chop it off. She said, you need that long hair to show the shorter hair where it is intended to go. And that's what I did, because the back actually dropped to, and not a lot of people know this, because obviously when you have hair loss, you do try and hide it. Yeah. And it's simply because I just wasn't looking after my hair at all. And I was talking the talk, but I'd stopped walking the walk. Oh. So my hair at the back, the very back, was about that long, about 3 to 4 inches long, and just some string. And during lockdown now, I've grown it back, and I'll show you what I've done, because I'm really, really happy with this. You can't really see all the way down, but you can see.
It's quite distance, yeah.
So I've grown it about 5-6 inches there. So that's the difference that I've made, and that's the difference that oh God, I'm just sweaty. That's a difference that looking after your hair makes, and it's a relatively short time. So yeah.
Well, that's fantastic. I mean, I think most of us want to know that secret. So what I'd love you to tell the audience is a little bit about how you came to produce the products. And why you called it Big Nannies?
Well, I didn't produce it. This product in various guises has been about for, and you're hearing me right, 69 years.
Wow.
Because my mom has been making her products for 69 years. Since she was 13, she's 82 now. And that's what she used on all of us, our body and our hair. Our skin and our hair. And she made it for herself, and then when we were born she used it on us, and she tweaked it as the years went by to suit different things that was going on. And what she found that some years ago, that she'd found like an ideal recipe, and that's the one, the original recipe, and that's this one here. Let me show you.
Okay, great.
So you see there.
Big Nannies, okay, with the red top.
And that's her there.
Yeah.
And that's her. So that's the one that she stuck with, because it just did everything seemed to do everything for everybody. So that's what we stuck with. And a few years later, we brought out another one, which was this one, and this one sort of like filled the gap between that one and this one, which is hair that tends to be finer and maybe thin, and then this one for hair that is maybe coarse and dry. So, but for our family, most of us were using this, and that was fine until we started to sell and realized that we needed another product.
That's great. So look, I know that you're swimming.
Ready.
You want to turn your fan on?
Oh, it's on already. Oh, let me just get my tissue. It's rather warm in here.
If you need to turn the fan on, feel free to do that.
Oh, yeah. Thank you. I will actually. One moment.
Let's do that. Let's do that. So,
time of life, ladies.
Yes, I was going to say, those of you ladies that are at that time of life, which is a topic we're going to talk about really soon. As you know, we just need to keep it cool. And we're going through a bit of a change of weather because it's supposed to be cool tonight in the UK, but it's still warm. We're having the end of our heat wave, 30 degrees, which it's not even 30 degrees, but it's about 25, which is about 82 Fahrenheit. So that's where we are here. So I get why you're struggling. And I'm struggling.
Thank you.
That's wrong, which I shouldn't be wearing. But too late to get changed. I just went with it. So
yeah. That's another thing, time of life makes a big difference to your hair. So I was going through that at the same time. So it makes a big difference. It does affect your hair.
And that sort of mentioned that because at different points, it may be stress, as in COVID or life.
Yeah.
It can be menopause. It can be just, you've got a weak point, and anytime anything happens, that's the part. I mean, I know a part in the middle of my hair that once it starts, I just get upset for something, and all of a sudden it's breaking.
And that happens. That happens quite a lot, for a lot of us. And basically, what that is that if you undergo any sort of stress or any sort of illness, or you happen to take a certain kind of medication for a certain period of time, what you'll find is that the first thing that the body takes from in order to help whatever ailment it is from the hair. And so you'll experience some sort of hair loss, but it's only a temporary thing, and you'll experience that about 3 months after the event. So watch out for that, viewers, that you might find that you have some sort of trauma or stress or illness or something today. You will find that in 2 to 3 months' time, you'll experience some sort of hair loss. But it's a temporary thing and fixes itself once the ailment or whatever it is passed. So
that's really good to know, because
I'm
going to be bald in that area forever, or whatever the case is. So that's really good news to hear. So tell me how you went from it being a product that you just made locally, at home, to a product that you ended up manufacturing and marketing and selling. How did you go from A to Z?
Well, as I said, it's my mom's product full stop. She made everything from scratch. And what happened was I was in the canteen at work, and there was a young lady there who was experiencing some issues with her hair, particularly the front of her hair. And she was telling me that, she's experiencing this problem, and she didn't know what to do about it. And then she said to me, "You have unusually long and thick hair. What do you use?" So I explained that my mom makes our products. She said, "Can I try some of that?" Well, I went back to mommy and said, "Oh, there's this girl at work, and what do you think? Can you spare it?" Out comes this jar out the cupboard, jam jar, because it just went into anything. Anyway, gave it to this young lady, and 2 weeks after that, 2 more girls came to me, and I saw them asking for me. They didn't know me, so they didn't know what I looked like or anything. So I saw them asking them down the way, and asking people down the way, and they pointed me out, and they came to me and asked me if they could have some of this product. So I said, well, it's not a product that we're just giving away like that or selling, and I don't even know how you heard about it. And they told me that this girl had used it and that they need it. So I said, well, she's only been using it 2 weeks, and I'm not joking you. She was using it 2 weeks. So I said, she's only been using it 2 weeks. I mean, what can be happening in 2 weeks? And they said, haven't you seen her? And I said, no. And they said, You need to go see her. You need to see her. So anyway, I got them some product, and it just went from there. And I didn't see that girl again for 3 months. And when I did see her, I was in the canteen again. And somebody patted me on the shoulder. And when I turned around immediately, she's a tall girl. When I turned around immediately, I didn't recognize who was in front of me. The person in front of me had makeup on, really quite stunning, hair down to the shoulder, thick and everything. The girl that I knew, I'd never seen her hair out, I'd never seen her in makeup, but she'd come and her hair had grown in length. I think this is about three months later. Her hair had grown in length, it was thicker, and she was wearing makeup because she'd got this new confidence. It was just beautiful to say. And all she said to me, with kind of tears in her eyes, all she said to me was, "Your mom did this. Your mom did this." That's what she said.
Fantastic.
Yeah. So I went back and told mommy this, and I said, it really seems to have made a difference to this girl. I think we're going to have to do something for the people. We're going to have to do something, and that's how the business started.
Wow.
I'm going to have to plug this in because it's on low battery. Let me get the plug for it, Michelle. So sorry. Typical, isn't it?
No worries. That is the beauty of technology. Never always prepared. But isn't that great to know? And just to fill in, because I did have a bit of a conversation with Althea about this before, the woman that she actually helped on that day that she's referring to at her place of work at the time was an Asian woman. So she wasn't actually even a Black woman. So, and I know from some Asian women that I know, a lot of women struggle with losing hair in the center and all the way down. So her bringing that product to an Asian woman was even more proof of what was in the pudding. So yeah, so we're getting some comments here. Get the products online. Let's start supporting this. Yes, and I think we have Althea's website that we can put up for you, so you can see where to order the products. See if our producer will bring that up for us. But yeah, here it is. So Althea's website is bignannyshairproducts.co.uk. So we'll keep that coming up a few times so that you guys can take that down. She's also on Instagram, which you can really see some great photos there, and Facebook as well. Big Nanny's Hair Products. So it's Big Nanny's Hair Products. As long as you do a search for that, even on Google, you'll find her. So that's great. Okay, so we're back in business, Althea?
We're back in business. Yeah, I couldn't have it cutting out on us mid-flow.
I don't imagine. No worries, we're all good. So this is really exciting. So when you realize that this was more than just a jam jar, give it a bit here, give a bit there, and you decided to really turn it into a business, I mean, did that take weeks? Did that take months? Did it take years? And how did you get the work on it?
It didn't really take. We were all self-financed, and it didn't really take that long because luckily I'm legally trained, so I was able to secure things and do quite a bit myself. So that saved an awful lot of funds. But no, it didn't take long at all. But because we were sort of like starting on the back foot, it was more difficult than it needed to be. Because if I was starting a business now, I would have done all my research and I would have done everything all step by step. But we were actually living in the moment, so it was doing everything as we went along. So yeah,
and that can be challenging.
It can. Yeah.
And in a way, what would you say is the part that not really that you struggle with, but would you say just getting the word out there that you exist?
Yeah, I think that's probably is the challenge, is getting the word out there, because as you know, advertising costs, and it's about really finding ways and means to promote yourself and doing it as cost effectively as possible, and knowing the right avenues to use, because using the wrong avenues means less exposure and more finance being used, when in fact, you could have perhaps used a different avenue. But we've been extremely lucky. I mean, we've been just so lucky. Half of that is the fact that the products actually work. They do what they're saying. Yeah, they actually work. And I think because of that, word of mouth has been, the most productive way for our business to have gone forward. It's really grown exponentially on the basis of word of mouth. And then what I found is that during lockdown, our people, the community, particularly the Black community, were looking for products that they needed to get to do their hair. So at that time, everyone was looking for people to do this and that, and everybody was willing. When no one's working, everyone's at home. Everybody was willing to use their platforms to expose and give exposure to small business, and that's what they did. I mean, we've been, because our products can be used on any hair type. I mean, it just depends on your hair type as to how you use it and which one you use. And we'd find that people would spread the word, and other people with platforms would spread the word for us as well.
That's fantastic. And so is your product international? If somebody who's stateside right now watching the show, could they order the products as well?
Well, we're putting things in place to do that. There's things that you need to do before you do that, and we've done that. We've done all the legalities, most of the legalities. We just want to tweak our packaging to make it more viable to travel across seas. So that's the only thing that we've got to do. We really do need to get that sorted as soon as possible. Well, that's the only reason why the hair oils themselves aren't traveling. But we're looking to get the combs and brushes and all that available across the seas ASAP. But in respect of the oils, there'll be a few more months yet. But I mean, I've got family in USA. You can imagine the grief, the grief that we get, because I mean, my sister came over. She took like a job lot back with her, and I mean, and sending it over and whatnot. We don't really do that. So when she came, she had to take it with her.
Okay. So we've got some great questions in the chat for you.
Oh wow!
First one is, how long did it take you to grow your length?
I love hearing that question, because I have to say to you that I have always had long hair. I've always had long hair. I've always used my mom's products. So when you say how long has it taken you, would you believe that up until I started to grow my hair last November, I'd never grown it? I've never sat down and thought, right, I'm going to grow my hair. It's never been something that I've thought. If it grew, it grew. If it didn't, it didn't. I'd never noticed, because it's always below the shoulder, about somewhere. The longest it's been is to tailbone. It sits on the chair behind me. That's the longest I've had it. But I cut it from there because it was all this hair on the chair. Too much. Too much. And the washing and all that. So I cut it from that. But in respect of growing it, November last year, from November last year, what we are now, we're on September, I've probably grown it about 5 inches.
Okay.
About 5 inches.
Wow.
Yeah. But the thing about it is growing it and keeping it. And that's the thing, is how to keep hold of the hair once you've grown it. I mean, the back has grown an awful lot more than even that. The back is probably 5 to 6 inches maybe, because about 12 inches back there. So yeah, quite a lot at the back. But as Mommy said, it was about using the longer hair to go the back. And it's like it's waiting for it, and now it's all growing together. It's amazing. It's amazing, because that's what's happening. Yeah, it's all sort of like evened out, and now it's all growing together.
That's lovely. That's lovely. Do you see this question? Is there any particular product you'd recommend where the size of your hair is balding?
Both of our products. Now, this is another thing I've got to tell you, and I'll answer that question at the same time. We didn't know what the product did. All we knew is that it kept our hair really nice and healthy, no edge problems, no balding or anything. It kept our hair well. So none of the family have that kind of issue. So we didn't know what it did. It's people that told us that it was that they'd use it and they'd find that their edges were growing. They would find that bald patches were growing back. I had one lady that had a bald patch 18 years, and she would give testimony as well. She had a bald patch 18 years and it grew back. Her bald patch grew back. Now they say that oils can't grow your hair, but it's likely that probably they don't actually grow your hair. But what they do is they give your hair and scalp the environment that it can grow, and that's what I would say, because there's something about them.
Okay. Althea, just as a side note, your screen was breaking up a little bit, so I don't know if anyone's streaming in the house or anybody else
watching this.
Streaming, like playing games or watching Netflix, something like that may be affecting it.
No, my son might be playing his
Xbox
Switch
or something like that.
No, he's not actually. He's playing his Switch upstairs, so that wouldn't be it. And do you want me to go see if something needs switching off?
Yeah, you can ask a quick question.
Yeah, 1 moment.
Sorry about that, guys. We just want to make sure we give you the best of what she has to say, and she's got a lot of great things to say, so we don't want to lose out on that. So bear with us while we try and have this little intermission. But yeah, I'm getting some great questions from you here. And one of the things I want Althea to talk about when she comes back is about the mindset of hair. She told me a really interesting thing, I'll call it, an attitude about how you should approach your hair. So Althea's back. We'll have a talk about that for a minute, and then we'll come back to your questions. Don't worry, we haven't forgotten that. So Althea.
Can I just say, Michelle, that young lady that was asking that question, it depends on your hair type, which oil that you would use. So as I was saying before, this one, the original, that one's more for fine or thinning hair, or hair that's not particularly thirsty. And this one is if your hair is can be coarse, dry, or soft and fluffy. This one is more moisturizing for that type of hair. But both of them do the same thing.
Okay, just depending on the hair. Okay. Making notes myself.
Yeah. And that's really marvelous, isn't it? Considering my mom's not a scientist, but she's managed to make a product that suits both all hair types, but yet looks after the hair and then looks after the issues as well, but particular to whatever hair type there is. People with European people tend to use that one, and we'll use that on the ends of the hair just to stop it from drying out, because the ends of the hair tends to get dry on, say, like white people's hair.
So one of the things I learned from you that I want to share with the audience, which is great, because I've been wearing braids lately just because I'm lazy, and I also like to add color, and I don't want to color my natural hair. And one of the things that Althea told me, which I thought was amazing, she was saying, you know, when you have braids in and then you take them out, a lot of time you're like, oh, I've got all this hair. And then about 2 weeks later, all the hair's gone. Or in my case, usually once they comb it out, it's all on the floor. And she said one of the things was when you're putting oil in your hair, instead of just doing the top, which we all tend to do, or the side, do it all the way down. So I've been practicing. Let me do this side, look at the camera.
Yeah. It makes a huge difference.
Right to the end. So that was a really great tip. So whether you've got braids or not, that's good to know, right?
Yeah.
This goes style.
Particularly with braids, what happens is that people braid their hair and they'll get one to maybe 2 inches of growth, and very exciting. And they take out the braids and give it a rest for 2 weeks. And at that 2 week stage, it starts to break quite considerably sometimes. And the reason for that is that when you have your hair in braids, people have got braids in and they've got it in for like 6 to 8 weeks, maybe even more. And in that whole time, there's no moisture going to the actual hair ends. and the hair ends become very brittle. And even when you're washing it, it's just it doesn't make it. You might be adding water, but once water's dry, it's very dry. So it does need the oil. So what we tell people, and I do this on my own hair, I do it on my daughter's hair, and I tell them to do it. And that is, once you've oiled your hair, you oil the braid as well. If your hair is 3 inches long, there's no point oiling 20-inch braids all the way to the bottom, but do oil where your hair is. And what you'll find is, when you take the braids out, the braids will come out easier. That's one. And two, your whole head is moisturized. So in fact, you don't even have to run to the bathroom to go wash it. You could go out with a braid out. This one also gets none of them build up. That's one fantastic thing about this product. But if you do get any lint or anything like that, this is fantastic at getting it out. Just put it on it and rub, just like that, it disappears.
So would you say you just need sort of like the size of I was going to say like the size of a 10p piece or something? To put on the hair and on the ends? Because sometimes we put too much because we're used to like, oh, it's got to be shiny for you. So I'm just trying to get a sense of what kind of amount one should be. You
don't want to put too much, but at the same time, you don't want to be mean with the product, because at the end of the day, you're using it to make a difference to your hair. So if you're more liberal with the oil, I mean, it doesn't want to be dripping, but you need to be a bit liberal, like So it's actually it's in a jar here now, but it's quite liquid because it's warm, and that's what you'll find. So we do put a warning on, but you won't actually even see that. You probably can't see.
I can see it.
Yeah, so you see how greasy my hand is, and I'll just rub it through. Yeah.
The way through.
Yeah.
Wonderful. Great, beautiful.
But when I've done, you see that I've done that. Yes. How I would properly oil my hair, because that's not what I call oiling my hair. I'm just getting rid of the oil there. I would section my hair to make sure that it's oiled properly. I section the hair, and each section is oiled, and then I do like a grid where I part the hair, oil, part oil. This is really good for if you've got. We sell this as well, only £1.75. You just pour the product in there and just use it to oil your scalp.
Yes. For the lazy people, I need it to be as easy as possible.
Yeah. So while your hair's like that, you need something like this to apply the oiling. And
after the show.
Girl, I'm waiting for you.
So I've got so many questions. So here's another one. So what if your hair is dyed?
If your hair is dyed, you need to be looking at our website. I've got two ladies. The other one I haven't put her picture on yet, but I've got one lady whose photograph is on our website, and it's also on Facebook where she did her original review, and she's got colour in her hair, a browny sort of coloured hair, and it's quite long. Her hair is actually down there, but the shine, the hair looks so healthy. You would not believe that it's been coloured, because what I find with hair, particularly black hair, is that the hair looks really dull. The colour seems to take the natural beauty of the hair from it. It's a beautiful colour, but it's so dull. There's no shine or anything. So that's what colouring can tend to do to the hair. But Big Nanny's brings back that shine, brings back that life. And this young lady uses it because it's one of the only things that she uses that helps to bring back the vitality of her hair. So if you've got coloured hair, Big Nanny's is great for it.
Fantastic. Another question is, what's the price point, and how do you, well, we've already answered how you recommend using the product, but what's the price point?
Right, so we have two sizes. We have a 100ml jar and a 250ml jar. So if you want to test it out, you could buy the 100ml, which is £7.50, and the 250ml is £12. So obviously it's more cost effective to buy the bigger jar. But I have to tell you as well, you'll know that that's a really good price for natural oils anyway. But these oils are not only natural oils, there is also organic oils in there. It's a mix of natural and organic oils. And the other thing I should tell you is there's no water in there. Absolutely no water in this product. It's pure product. So when you go out there and you see other products that might cost the same, little cheaper and a lot more, if you look at the first ingredient, quite often the first ingredient is aqua, which is water. Yeah, no water in this. Pure product. Pure goodness.
Pure goodness. I like that. Excellent. And I had another great question. What was it? Well, someone, I think Denise from the States is on the line. I think it's Denise from California, actually.
Hi, Denise.
She wanted to know, can we get it in the States? So she missed that when you spoke to that. So would you like to do that again?
Yeah, I was just saying, Denise, earlier that the intention is definitely to get it to the States, definitely, because we get we get messages from all of the platforms asking us when is it going to get there. So that's definitely on our agenda. We've done half the work already because there's some work to do to get it out there and to be safe with it. And we've just got to sort out our packaging to make sure that it travels well to you. But I can't wait till you get it. You're gonna absolutely love it. You really are.
Yeah, fantastic. We've got some more comments. Well, let's just see. We've got another hello, but I can't see who it is because I haven't typed in the name on StreamYard. And so someone else, can you give us an insight to your hair regime, which is a really good question. Kind of what
Yeah, so I keep my hair moist. And the most important part of my hair and the most important part of your hair as well is the hair ends. A lot of people like to try to retain length. And if that's the case, then you really need to look after your hair ends because your hair always grows. 85% of your hair is growing at any one time. So it's always growing. So what you need to do is to ensure that you maintain the ends of your hair to keep the length. Because if you're getting split ends, if you're leaving the hair to dry out, then it will break. And if it breaks, that's the length that you've got growing gone. And as it's growing, what tends to happen is as it's growing from the root, you're losing it at the end. Because, if you comb your hair and you get those little round curls, if you've got afro hair, if you've got those little round curls, if you were to pull it straight, you'll find that that's probably about an inch of hair, a half inch to an inch of hair. And that takes such a long time to grow that inch of hair that you can't afford to have that just breaking off willy-nilly. So before you pull out your plaits or your hairstyle, oil the hair. Always think protecting the hair. So oil the hair. You might if you use water, then oil, and then pull out your plaits or your braiding, and oil. We use our oils on our scalp. I know some people are oil on the scalp adverse, but not us. We use it on our scalp and we find because it's so light, it doesn't build up and it doesn't clog the follicles. It's been made in such a way that it also enters the hair shaft, so it lies the hair down. It's just beautiful. So I will wash my hair when I feel I need to wash it, when it needs washing, and I will put the oil in while it's damp. And I'll plait it. If I decide to blow it out, I do sometimes, but not every time because it's not awfully good for the hair. Then I'll plait it, and if it's dried out, once it's dried, I'll reapply the oil. I probably oil my hair every couple of days.
Okay. That's a good question. Yeah. Every 2-3 days, or depending.
Depend. Judge for yourself. I mean, if you've got your hair in plaits, it's likely that the hair will retain the oil in the actual plait, but you might just need to reapply on the scalp and on the hair that's coming from the root to the plait. So, but every couple of days. If you've got issues with balding and any hair loss around there, if it's drying out, apply more often.
Okay.
That's
good to know. That's good to know. And what if your hair's relaxed and it's not, you're thinking about transitioning or you're not ready to transition, but you still need to keep your hair moist? Do you recommend it for relaxing?
Yeah, definitely. This product can be used on absolutely any hair. what people have said to us when it comes to relaxed hair is that it seems to maintain the relaxed the hair to be flatter and more straighter longer. Same if you straighten your hair, with tongs, this keeps the hair straighter longer. Because if I straighten my hair with tongs, I use this, it keeps it straighter longer until you wash it. I don't know how it does it, but it does. But this is the feedback we get with straightened hair, that it's really good. And this one is particularly good on straightened hair.
Okay. Now, what about our men in the community or non-community? I mean, do you recommend it for men as well?
Listen, hair is hair, whatever gender. And we don't talk so much about men's hair because it's not such a biggie for them.
Yes.
But their hair will, and we always say their hair seems to grow faster, but they don't take as much notice of the growth as we will do. But definitely men can use it, and either one depending on hair type again. And I know that we haven't got like a product that's specifically aimed at men, but other product makers do. But it's the same thing in the bottle. We're not fooling anybody, or similar. Hair is hair. So this is a whole family hair regime right here.
Wonderful.
The kids and the adults. It's been tested for children to make sure they can use it, even though we were brought up on it. But we just wanted to make sure that, we're doing everything properly, and tested for children, and you can use it on children and adults. This one, because it's got tea tree in there, we recommend it for children over 3 years old. And that's just a thing because tea tree, some people can have an issue with tea tree, but normally fine.
That's fine. Okay. We have another question for you. Keeping you going. Do you have some water?
Yeah.
This guest would like to know, do you have a treatment in your range, like a steam treatment or just aftercare products?
Well, we recommend this thing called pre-poo. And basically what you do is, and this is the best one for it as well, we call it loading. You load your hair. So you put quite a bit of it in your hair, all over your hair, so it's quite moist. You put, these are our shower caps. Don't know if you can see. There's about 8 in a packet. And they're like plastic shower caps, but they're biodegradable. So we try to steer away from plastic, especially when plastic heats up. You don't want that. So these are biodegradable caps, and they're much better than the plastic in every way. Anyway, so you oil your hair, you put your plastic cap on, and you leave it on for about 10-20 minutes, and then you take it off and wash your hair as you would normally do. After you've washed it, you then damp dry it, oil it again, and then plait it or whatever you're going to do. And that loads the hair, so it's fully moisturized. So that's our treatment, and it's the same 2 jars, no extra product.
We'll just go back a second. So you put the product on your hair.
Yeah.
Put the cap on.
Yeah.
Take the cap off. Would you wash it, shampoo and condition it as normal, or do you just
as normal? You wash it as normal.
Okay, and then you just towel dry it.
Yeah. So what you're doing is you're infusing the oils into your hair before you wash it, and then when you wash it, you're washing off the outside oil, but you're keeping the hair from drying out. The other thing, so it doesn't come out greasy or anything. It's still nicely, still nice.
Yes.
What you do is when you're a tip for when you're washing your hair is don't use hot water, because hot water actually lifts the cuticles of your hair, and that causes so much damage. What you need to do is use slightly cooler water, and then when you're rinsing the hair, your last rinse to be cool water as well, and that closes the cuticles. That is a really good tip, and that's something that I do.
That's a good point, because it's the same thing with moisturizing your face or doing a facial treatment, any kind of facial. You're supposed to use, warm water to clean the skin, but then to close your pores, or cold water. So that actually
because if you think about it, your scalp is really just your face is just an extension of your scalp. Your scalp is an extension of your face. It's all your skin. And
Yeah.
so it's just that we've got so much hair coming out of the scalp that we treat it slightly differently.
Mm,
But with the hair, those cuticles need to be laid down after.
okay. So we've washed the hair, we've conditioned it, actually pre-conditioned it,
Yeah.
washed it, conditioned it again, and then, we've done a little steam treatment, we're taking it out. So how do we comb the hair? Because one of the things that drives me crazy when I used to go to the hairdresser, I have a fabulous hairstylist, but in the past, I've known them to be dragging this like little tail comb through your hair, and your hair is,
Tail
whew,
comb. Oh my gosh, no.
oh, when my hair was relaxed, so many years ago.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
what do you recommend? Because I know you've got some great combs.
Wow. We do have some great combs. We don't use plastic combs in our hair.
Great.
Yeah, we don't use plastic combs because plastic combs cause static, which
Okay.
our hair hates. And the other thing that what's good about wood combs is that, because that's what we use, wood combs, is that it's at one with the hair, because wood combs are made of wood is nitrogen, oxygen, carbon, and that's what we are. So you're at one with it. And these are our brushes,
Okay.
and they are made of sandalwood, and you'll see that it's got our big nannies at the bottom there that you can see. You probably can't see that very clear, but it's got our logo on it. And they're made of sandalwood. Even the teeth are sandalwood. We use brushes,
Really?
yeah, even the teeth. And we use brushes in our hair to, if we want to, stretch it out. The brush helps to stretch it out, and
Yes.
you lose. It only takes out the hair that's coming out anyway, because you lose about 100 hairs a day.
Wow.
That's all that comes out with it, because it's wood. It's not pulling out anything else. This one is our sandalwood and bamboo comb, and that again's got our logo on. They all have our logo on. And this is bamboo, and this is sandalwood. And
Wow.
I use this as an everyday hair comb. It replaces my everyday plastic comb. This would replace.
Mm.
And so you part your hair with that part, and it's great. I absolutely love this, and this goes everywhere.
Oh, so
And
lovely. I love
then
it. I
this is the
love it.
pièce de resistance. This is your big detangling comb. This is sandalwood. You can see our Big Nanny's logo.
Yes.
Absolutely beautiful comb. All of these combs, you can smell the aroma of sandalwood.
Oh,
And
wow.
yeah, and this one's got a nice little saying on it, a nice little affirmation. And it is, my hair is beautiful, healthy, strong, and plentiful. And it's just
Oh,
for you to have
no.
that, beautiful,
Mm.
healthy, strong, and plentiful. So every time you
Mhm.
comb your hair, you've got those thoughts in your hair,
Yeah.
on your mind. And what we say to you is, when you're combing your hair, try not to be thinking about the bills. Try not to be thinking about the school run. Try not to be thinking about the ex-boyfriend. Think about your hair when you're combing your hair. Think about you. Put your energy into your hair, so that
Yeah.
if you're looking to revive it, if it's had some sort of ailment, put your energy back into your hair, rather than be thinking about other things and expending your energy out of yourself. Put it into yourself so that you can reap the benefit. Because I tell you, it works.
Wonderful.
And this is our other comb, which is only a small comb. This is a sandalwood comb as well, and that's lovely. Some people love this one, but these two are my go-to combs, my personal
Wonderful.
go-to combs, and this brush as well. We also
And
have for the
oh,
men.
oh,
One more thing. We also have for the men and the young people tend to love this. Anybody can use them, but young people tend to love this. And this is a tin that you get with it. But
yeah.
it's an edge or a beard brush. So you just do the edges of your hair with it. Men tend to
Oh,
do their beards with it. So that's really nice, again, with our logo.
oh,
So
that's
that's
nice.
basic. Yeah,
What's it
yeah.
made from?
That one's made from bamboo. We do bamboo and sandalwood. Yeah.
That,
Bamboo
oh, it's
is
great
quick
product.
going, yeah, and economic and everything. And the sandalwood is just the most beautiful wood to be using in your hair.
I actually
Yeah.
have bamboo chopping boards that I
Yeah,
bought in New York before I left. So I would say about 12 years ago, still going
yeah,
strong.
yeah,
Never
yeah.
the dishwasher, you can hand wash it. It's great. Bamboo is a
It's great.
phenomenal
Yeah,
product, so I highly recommend it.
exactly. It's got longevity. But I do absolutely. This comb is like a legacy comb. I think it's just the most beautiful comb I've ever seen. And you have to be in its presence though. Our packaging's really nice as well, but I don't talk about our packaging. You see that when you get our stuff.
Oh, that's lovely.
Yeah.
Let me ask you, what's sort of the price point on those products? Because I'm sure quite a few people.
Yeah, the brush here is I think $15.99 for that brush. These are £8. This is $10.50, and this is $16.99 with that. And we actually also, I didn't show you this at the moment. I've only got a few left of these Afro combs, just a few left. So you're going to jump on quick if you want that for a minute. And I didn't show you our water mister.
Oh, okay. Yeah. When did we use it?
Some people use water in there. I don't actually use water in my everyday hair care, but some people do need water in their hair. And this is fantastic because it gives an even spray. And when you spray, it just comes out and just keeps coming with one press. So that's really good.
Fantastic. And they can find all these products on your website, I'm assuming.
Yeah, all on the website. I mean, what the thing about our business is we sell what we use. So all that you see here, you will find in all of our houses. These are all what we use. The boys use this, the teenagers use this. Everybody's got a comb or a brush, whichever one that they prefer to use, and we all use the oils. So it's not that we use them, then we gave them to you, as opposed to, oh, let's buy that to give you, or let's buy that to give you, or you know, have this made to sell. It's all things that we happen to use, and we thought, you know, let's share them.
Absolutely. I mean, I can attest to your products; they're amazing.
Yeah.
And Althea, one last question, because I think some people in the States might want it. I'm sure I'm going to be getting some emails afterwards. So if they emailed you, would you be able to do a personalized package if somebody might want to do that? Is that a possibility, or should they just email you and you'll discuss?
Yeah, email me and discuss. Great. Yeah, I'd love to speak. I speak to anybody and everybody. I'm always on the phone, always, as much to my husband's dismay. But I love to talk to my customers, and you know, if they've got any hair issues or they want to know how to use a product, I'm happy to talk to them. I didn't put my telephone number on there. Perhaps I won't put it on this, but email me, and I'm glad to give it and speak to people.
Yeah, and what we could do is put it in the group.
Definitely.
I could put it there, and
yes.
And here's the email. And if anybody's got any questions, just post them, and we'll get back to you. But this has been amazing. And there's somebody, I assume, is one of your customers. They're saying, I use this mist to spray my hair at night, and then I oil it all over with Big Nannies before plaiting it for bed.
Oh, that's great.
Last but not least, let's talk about what I call the dreaded cat. Remember, I told you that I had one of the cats. Take that thing off. I don't want to see that on your hair. I was like, okay, he's Cuban, so you know it's not. Anyway, so
do you know what? I completely understand. Let me tell you about we do sleep caps. Now, we had an issue with a batch that we bought in. We had an issue with them. A couple of the customers pointed out that there was an issue with them, and I took them all off.
Really?
So yeah, took them all off. That, you know, I just wasn't. If someone's going to have an issue with them, I'm just not going to sell them. So we took them all off, and I used the opportunity while we were down on these caps to try and source different caps. Well, as I told you, Michelle, I came back to the same style of caps, and that's this. Can
you show it again?
Yeah.
That's the one.
Yes.
Don't wear that.
And you know what the problem is? There's so many lovely, beautiful caps out there, but here's the thing. You've got these beautiful ones with satin on the inside and lovely and coarse material on the outside, or some other kind of material on the outside, double layered. Here's the thing. When you wear clothes to go out in the winter, you wear layers. One thick coat doesn't keep you warm, but three a jumper, t-shirt, and a coat keeps you warm, and that's because the air is trapped between the layers, and that's what effectively keeps you warm. So what happens with sleep caps that have a double layers, the heat from your head leaves your head and then becomes trapped between the outer material and the inner material. And this causes your head to warm up. When your head is warm, your follicles are more open. It's the same as, it's the same as when you go to get your eyebrows plucked in the winter. It hurts like hell. But in the summer, it's not as painful. That's because in the summer, your eyebrow follicles are open, but in the winter, they're tightly closed because the body tightens them to retain the heat in the winter, opens them in the summer. So your hair follicles are open. Hair thinks, oh, hi, let's go. You know, you're more likely to lose hair that way than you are if your hair is cooler. It's the same like when people are undergoing chemotherapy, they use these cold caps, don't they, to stop the particular type of chemotherapy from affecting the hair. They use a cold cap because the cooler head means the follicles are closed. And this is the same thing I was saying to you when I was telling you that you should wash your hair or rinse your hair in cool water, the last rinse, to close the follicles, close the cuticles on the hair, but close your follicles as well, because that makes a difference to hair loss. And I'm not just saying this because I think it's a good thing to say. I actually did the experiment. I washed my hair in cool water today, and hardly any hair loss. The following week, following 2 weeks time, I washed it again, and I used hot water to see how that, normal hot water, as hot as I wanted it. And the hair loss was extraordinary. The difference was unbelievable. So cool water for the last wash is kind of like a must. Definitely.
Excellent.
Yeah.
Well, go ahead.
I was just going to say, with the caps, what happened was we came back to these because it's limited the amount that it touches the scalp, or even wear them inside out, and it's baggy so that your hair can breathe. So it keeps the moisture in, but the hot air leaves the head. And we just thought it's I'm just going to have to stick with what actually works for the hair as opposed to what's pretty.
Yeah. And would you say that's better than using what most of us would use, which is a traditional scarf? Is that because that's just too tight?
Yeah, that's the other thing I was saying, is that the thing about scarves as well is that it's particularly if you're trying to help your hair grow, you've got this scarf on your head, just pressing it down, and not allowing the air to move around your hair and your hair follicles. You're better off with a loose fitting cap. That's why these other caps are loose fitting, but the only problem is with the double layer, you will get that trapped warm air.
Good to know. Good to know.
Yeah.
Well, Althea, you've given us so many great tips. Not even tips, it's been an education, I would think, for most of us. I know it was for me when you told me some of the things that you're telling us tonight. That was really, really great information, and things that we don't always talk about, but we need to talk about in terms of talking about hair. So I really appreciate it. Have you got any shows coming up? Any other webinars? Anything else?
I do have another interview coming up in a couple of months' time with Alison Thomas on Get Your Radio. She's going to be sorting that out for us, and I might be on another event that I know a young lady called Francine of the 360 Lifestyle Group is doing on the 18th of September. I'm looking at that. But you can always find us on our website, and if you want to contact us on Instagram or by email or call me, I'm happy to speak.
Well, you are a star, a beautiful star with beautiful hair, and I think you really taught us a lot. And I love all those products, so I'll be ordering some soon. So I'm going to ask you to gracefully step aside to the green room, and I'll come back to you.
Thank you, everybody.
Thank you so much, Althea, for joining us and giving us your time tonight. It's been amazing. Thank you. So everyone, if you've learned something, if you want to know more, if you have any questions, you've seen her website, you've seen the information, but if you're unsure, or you need a bit more time to find the information and you didn't have time to write it down, you didn't have that pen beside you, please post in the group or on my website or in my wherever you find me, and I will get that to you. All right. So it's been great. I've really, really enjoyed tonight. And as I always say, you know, be good, be safe, stay joyful, stay connected, and shine your light. Thank you for joining us tonight. Good night.